Oh, great. Little Sammy Davis, Fred Scribner, and the great Levon Helm. Thank you guys very much. Levon, God bless you. Take care of yourself. Thank you very much, you guys. Y'all can order the Levon Helm Band with Little Sammy Davis, the Midnight Ramble Sessions, the CD and DVD. Go to levonhelm.com, LEVONHELM.com, or call 1-800-862-9897. You ought to get the web address or the number. You can call my office. We'll give it to you. Or you can go to littlesammydavis.com. Thank you guys very much. 5 till the hour.
I ain't looking to block you up, shock or knock or lock you up. I ain't looking for you to feel like me, see like me, or be like me. All I really want to do is, baby, be friends with you. Imus in the morning.
Let me talk to you about Guidance Milk and Ice Cream in New Britain, Connecticut. They've grown to be one of the largest independent dairies in the tri-state area. A family-owned and operated company since 1886. This last hour is just going to be just tedious.
A bummer.
Well, let's start it off, though. Could get better here. Please welcome to the Imus in the Morning program, Deirdre Imus. Good morning, Mrs. Imus.
I have great news. Good morning, everyone.
They found Gibson?
They found Gibby. Tracy just... I know, I'm so excited.
Where was he?
Tracy just called and she said, Gibby, she just saw him walking into the maintenance barn there. So she gave him his pills right away, and he's eating, and she said he looks fine, and he's all muddy, but he's fine. So...
Huh. Well, God, man, that's a weird story. I mean, Tampa came back a day early?
I know. Well, and I had just called Donnie, and Donnie was at another end of the ranch, and he was still feeding the animals, and he doesn't know that Gibson's back yet. And I had just hung up with him because he said, no, I haven't seen Gibson yet. And then Tracy called and said she was with Gibson. So.
And that is great news, isn't it?
Yeah. It's great news. You know, Bernard, he really has a sexy voice, doesn't he?
Why don't you calm down?
Well, I can't. I mean, what's wrong with saying that?
Well, first of all, you're hitting on Charles the other night, right in front of me and Wyatt. Oh, that was disgusting.
Well, Wyatt agrees with me. He thinks he loves Charles. Chuck is one of his favorite people, most favorite people.
Yeah. Well, Bernard's tied up with Sid's wife, so he doesn't have time for mine.
But I've got some time, if you know what I'm saying.
All right, honey.
Hey, baby.
That's good news. That's great.
Look on this.
Oh, God, get off the phone.
What is happening here?
Gee, what the hell's wrong with you?
I'm just so excited.
Yeah, I am, too.
That's wonderful.
All right, honey, thank you.
All right, I'll let...
Deirdre Imus on the Imus Morning program.
I love you, too. Yeah. I adore you.
Well, I do love her.
Yeah.
You shut up, Bernard. Keep your hands off of her.
Setting up, Chief.
Well, that's great news that dog's back. I mean, I hate to be going about a dog, but I realize there's a lot of other things more important in the world, but...
Everybody understands that.
You know, my wife knows all about that mercury stuff, and...
Well, yeah, that's her deal. Environmental hazards.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, so much of this stuff, I know that, I would rather go through my life and not have to talk about it, frankly. I'd rather, I do have to confess about the ranch. I mean, we had this, in case you don't know, we had this working cattle ranch in New Mexico for kids with cancer and the siblings of Sid's kids and stuff. I mean, I actually, except for not being able to breathe out there, which is a minor complaint when you're dealing with kids with cancer. Mm-hmm. And the siblings of kids who've lost their little brothers and sisters to sudden infant death syndrome. But my point is that it's actually a lot of fun. I mean, it's fun for me. It's fun for Deirdre. It's, some of the story when the kids die, it's not great. We've had that happen. But the work that people do, and these parents of kids who are autistic, and like the work that Margaret Miko and the Skip people do here in New York, and that's not fun. I mean, it's just there's almost no happy ending. I mean, if they can somehow, the deal with autism, just to talk about that for a second, one of the goals is to be able to determine far sooner if a child is autistic, so that they can begin to treat it and begin I can't say the word development. You said
developmentally improving their situation, right?
Programs and so on. then that's the goal. But it's heartbreaking, and there's no. I mean, you get a kid on the ranch with cancer, and many of them are in remission, and it changes their lives, and you see these kids become, well, they are normal kids. They're just sick. They just don't think they are. But then you restore their dignity and their self-esteem and instill some discipline and confidence in them. It's a great story with the people who work with autistic kids or other handicapped children. That boy, I mean, that's a bitch, and it's a tough man. That's a tough road, and those people are saints, and there's just all kinds of these people. We happen to know Margaret Miko and Skip, but it was like with Suzanne Wright. I mean, sure it was their grandkid who got involved, and maybe they wouldn't have got involved had it not been for that. But the point is, they didn't have to get involved as a result of that.
The point is, whatever, they did get involved.
She didn't have to devote her time and form this foundation and devote all the time that they've done to this. But it's not fun for them. It's heartbreaking, and there's enormous sadness, and it's horrible. I mean, Sid's got, even that creep has got. Who is it in your family has autistic kids?
It's my baby sister Lizzie, her first son, my godson Forrest. I'm involved with NAR, by the way, which is one of the charities that raises money. They have a big walk every year up here at the Meadowlands, but they're national, obviously, and Asperger's and autism involved with all that stuff.
Not fun.
No. It's a good boy too, bright boy.
Oh, I bet.
Really bright. I mean, that's the thing with autistic children. You find that many of them are way above intelligence, and that's the problem because they know what's going on. They know that there's something a little off.
One thing we do know is you're not autistic.
No, I'm not autistic, no, I don't think I am. I have ADD, though, which a lot of autistic kids have as well. Attention deficit disorder.
You sure you're not mixing up with VD?
Yeah, or AID. Is that what you
11
said?
minutes after the hour here in the Imus Morning program. We're going to get to the news in a second,
Idiot.
but big day at WFAN in New York.
Yeah.
Sid Rosenberg and Joe Benigno. Dumb and, well, dumber.
Of disorders.
Geez, that's a medical tent of
Honest to God.
triage of disorders. What are you having today?
Today is the Hockey Memorial, a funeral for the National Hockey League, and again, the procession will start right here at FAN at 1 o'clock, and by 2 p.m. we hope to be in front of Ben Benson Steakhouse on the west side.
Yeah.
Podium ready to go, and we'll have some eulogies and fans and poems, and actually, when the idea first came out, I have to admit, I thought it was a little silly, but as it's evolving here, it's going to be a tremendous event.
Right.
That means Lee talked to you about it.
Yes, that is correct, yes.
Lee would be our general manager. Who is a sour individual, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus, what a nice kid.
Reassess the situation.
Yes, reassessed it.
How many, have we made arrangements from MSNBC to shoot any of this?
They're efforting it, yes.
Oh, okay. Because we want to revel in the humiliation that's going to be visited upon both Joe and
We want a
Sid.
record. We want a record of this.
How many fans do you expect to show up?
That's tough to say because of the
Hardly
bad
going to
weather.
be like when Howard Stern handed out satellite radios.
Well, that was in Times Square. And by the way, that was a disappointing turnout for Howard as well. No, I wouldn't say that many, but I'd say a conservative number.
At 10,000 people, they're getting radios. How's that a disappointing turnout?
I'd say for us a conservative number is 4,000 people. That's a conservative number. Shut up.
Let me tell you something.
Shut up.
If you have 4,000 people, I'll donate $10,000 to that thing you belong to, the NAR deal.
For autism.
Oh, absolutely.
If we have 4,000 people.
Yes.
Now, but how are we going to know? How are we going to count them? I mean, you'll be able to tell. You could see, right? You'll be able to tell?
Well, you're going to crowd estimate.
Okay, fine.
If you have 14 semi-homeless people, I'll donate $10,000.
If you have 40 people, I mean, oh, God.
All right, you'll see. You'll see.
A nice job our public relations department at FAN did. Had a nice mention in David Hinckley's column.
Yeah.
Because he didn't mention, who's that guy, the all-night guy who's always interviewed, been around for 500 years? Joe...
Steve Summers.
No. What's his name? Joe...
Beningo?
No. Bernie, help me out here.
Joe
Franklin.
Oh, Joe Franklin.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Along with Joe Franklin. Joe Franklin's interviewing whichever one of these old singers is not dead, Patty Page or somebody. Is Patty Page dead, Charles?
I don't think so.
Okay. Or who's the other old baby as well?
Oh, yeah. He said Joe Franklin interviewing Levon Helm.
Yeah.
That is not funny.
I will whip your ass.
I will too.
We will both whip your ass.
Bernie told me to say that.
Can't tell you what he said off the air.
We'll be using that hearse for other purposes.
Well, you had to like Levon Helm.
How could you not?
Yeah, had to.
You didn't like Levon Helm?
Who's the question for?
Talking to you.
Oh, I don't think it was. I think it was asking you that.
No, he knows I like
I know Lou and Bernard did.
Yeah, they loved it.
But because you're into Celine Dion and Barry Manilow and Michael Bolton.
I do like all three of them. You're right. You got me.
Well, then, case closed.
Yep. Well, what's your excuse, Lou?
For liking him? I love him.
Oh, well,
I never said it. You're the one who said it.
You stupid bastard. You
Filthy skunk.
You skunk.
You said some horrible things off the
No,
air.
because what happened was the Pope...
You bat vomit.
Bernie said the Pope died about 40 minutes ago, but more of Levon Helm coming up.
Now I don't drive. I have a limo right in the back. I lock the doors in case I'm attacked. I'm making records, my fans, they can't wait. They write me letters, tell me I'm great. So I got me an office, gold records on the wall. Just leave a message, maybe I'll call. Lucky I'm sane after all I've been through. I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. Life's been good to me so long. Imus in the morning.
Michael, listen to this. Breeze under cloudy skies in Central Park. I'm Tracy Burgess with the Toyota Fan Highway Patrol.
Now, Media Watch with Walter Cronkite. And indulge me just a moment while I reformat my Media Watch viewer to its maximum ultra wide-angle capability. I have 4 scene assist modes available to me: narrow, normal, landscape, and Jesus Christ, who freed Willie, which is the aperture I will select today, because the media I am watching is cable television's MSNBC. Indeed, today's Media Watch might just as well have been titled Health Watch, then further refined into a hard-hitting investigative segment called Lard, One Network President's Descent into Vascular Hell. Our attention is called to a high-powered, if unfortunate, individual as a consequence of new health guidelines relating to cardiac risk, body weight, and specifically one's waist dimension. In white males, it's now believed that a waist measurement that exceeds 37 inches maximum is a one-way express speed ticket to a hole in the ground the size of a boxcar and the reunion with John Candy. I speak today with deep concern of MSNBC President Rick Golden Arches Kaplan. Good network executives are an endangered species. Most have attained their positions through sycophancy, sexual favors, or means that defy any explanation. Kaplan appears to be the exception, save for the possible sex angle, and our industry could ill afford to lose him. However, with a waist size that qualifies him as ship ballast, I'm afraid that seeing the MSNBC president face down on the floor of Scarborough country, twitching, turning the color of dandruff shampoo, would surprise exactly nobody. Indeed, we believe President Kaplan passed the 37-inch healthy waist cutoff about 50 laps ago. In fact, that's the current estimate of the man's girth. 50 inches or feet. Your guess is as good as mine. Instructive, though, that Mr. Kaplan's assigned MSNBC parking space is a handicapped loading zone, and that when the Paris Hilton stolen phone number scandal broke this week, Kaplan was reportedly inundated by telephone calls from the actress Kirstie Alley. Sad. A parting thought, then, for the MSNBC big. Well, that's unfortunate. For the MSNBC honcho, the next time your staff suggests that you sit down with them and chew the fat, don't take it so god-awful literally. The life you save could be mine. If you fall over on me, you blimp. For Media Watch, this is Walter Cronkite. Thank you, and good night.
A harsh assessment of the physical dimensions
I think it's just a concerned assessment
of our leader, Rick Kaplan, but what's the matter? He's over here now scribbling furiously a vile note that he's going to give to Charles because, by the way, I had nothing to do with that. And I was out of the room when that happened. I was not in the production studio when that was recorded.
Right.
So I bear no responsibility at all for that.
None at all.
24 after the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program.
This is going to be vicious.
Oh, no.
I can't say that on the radio.
That's a horrible thing for somebody of your education. Somebody who teaches at Harvard, that's what you write? Is that what you teach your kids at Harvard?
With your erudition and elegance, sir?
All right, here's Chuck with a little news update, or maybe not. Do you have something?
I
Chuck?
do.
What's going on? How's the Pope doing?
Pope John Paul is back in Rome's Gemelli Hospital for the second time this month after suffering a relapse of his breathing problems coupled with a fever. The Vatican says the pontiff again is suffering from flu symptoms that forced his hospitalization earlier this month. He was taken to the hospital this morning just minutes before he was supposed to appear at a Vatican ceremony. Vatican officials say the Pope is at the hospital so he can get the best possible care and undergo further checks. An official medical bulletin isn't expected.
Rick, we don't have anything to eat here, so maybe 25 after the hour.
I'm not dead. I'm alive. And I have the victory. I am victorious. What are you telling me? I'm telling you the God you worship is not in a tomb. I'm telling you he's not on a cross. I'm telling you he is seated on the right hand of the Father.
Imus in the morning. Sophistication meets adrenaline. Lincoln Navigator meet Lincoln Aviator. The luxurious Lincoln Navigator has first-in-class front and rear independent suspension, first-in-class advanced track with roll stability control, and Navigator has something else that'll quiet the competition. Priced $11,000 less than a Lexus LX470. For added adrenaline, meet Lincoln Aviator. Best-in-class standard V8 horsepower, sport-tuned suspension, and something else you'll respond to. Lincoln Aviator is priced
Well, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, okay.
B.B. King.
Okay.
Well, Eric Clapton, of course.
Sure.
In my book, he does blues stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of stuff.
Any Delbert McClinton?
I do have Delbert. I have Delbert the Weatherman from the Groundhog Day soundtrack.
Yeah.
Loser.
Oh, get out of here. I am not.
It's going well.
And you have better
you
stuff on
are,
your iPod?
You. What now?
Barbara?
Huh?
No, I'm saying Louis has better stuff in his iPod.
You don't have one.
You don't have an iPod?
iPod.
Oh, give me a break.
When's your birthday, Lou? I'll get you one.
It's coming up.
18 till the hour here on the Imus Morning program on the radio all over the country.
It's this afternoon.
We're talking with Tracy Burgess, our traffic lady, who was telling us what's on our iPod. Apparently there's some Stevie Ray Vaughan,
Yeah.
some B.B. King, some Delbert McClinton.
Uh-huh.
What else?
Well, I'm going back to the 80s, of course. There's some Def Leppard. There's some Guns N' Roses.
Quiet Riot.
Any Leonard Skinner?
There is Leonard Skinner in there.
And the Doors.
Yes, the Doors break on through.
How about Roadhouse Blues?
Roadhouse. I don't
Keep your
think
hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road.
I do have Roadhouse Blues.
Okay.
L.A. Woman. L.A.
All right, baby. All right, please welcome now to the Imus Morning program, Sid Rosenberg. Sid will be performing sports for us, sponsored by Peerless Boilers, America's best boilers. And we're hoping to also chat with Joe Benigno, Sid's partner.
He's here.
Up to hi. Good morning, Joe.
What's up, I'm in?
You got it going on, baby.
No. You got it going on, baby.
Big day today for you guys.
Can't wait. Well, you going to be there, too, or no?
Oh, sure.
You should be.
Yeah.
Why?
Come on.
There's a hearse involved?
Well,
is there some sort of shot?
You could take care
How
of,
about some respect?
you know what it is? You could, kill two birds with one stone. You know what I mean?
I don't understand.
Bern, you understand what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
No, I think you do. No, you can just put the I-Man right in the hearse. Why waste time?
Oh!
I like it.
That ain't right.
That
That
is
is
right.
not right.
No, that is not right.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway, well, let's
You know I love you. You know
But that dog.
let's do some sports, and then we'll talk about your hideous day.
Well, listen, the big sports story today are trades all over professional sports, man. Two big ones. One, Randy Moss, of course, being dealt from the Minnesota Vikings to the Oakland Raiders. Cannot be officially announced, man, until March the 2nd, but Randy Moss on his way to Oakland. The other big trade took place in the NBA last night with the Philadelphia 70s.
Why would they trade somebody like Randy Moss?
Well, they've had problems with Randy. He's a
Jerk.
He's a little bit of a jerk. He's had his problems off the field, minor skirmishes with the police. Nothing really impressive like Kobe. But he
Impressive?
Yeah.
Well, why would you
What kind of
choose
a word is that?
Well, I mean, in the street cred, not for you and I, but they have they do have a ratings scale.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, Bern?
The pantheon of athletic felons.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He doesn't quite rate.
Right.
Well, how's he going to
Yeah.
do? How's his attitude going to be any better in Oakland than it was in Minnesota?
Well, it doesn't matter because Oakland's bad boy. You know that. The legend of the Oakland Raiders is everybody's a bad boy.
Sure.
And they've got Jerry Porter, a great wide receiver on one side, Randy on the other, Kerry Collins, who has a terrific arm, the former Giant quarterback, can get the ball down the field. So he'll be perfect for the Oakland Raiders. Also, in the NBA last night, Chris Webber was dealt to the Philadelphia 76ers from the Sacramento Kings. And now you've got an awesome 1-2 punch, Allen Iverson and Chris Webber playing together for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Chris Webber's been in some problems, hasn't he?
Yeah, he took some money. He was actually a grand jury a couple of years ago. He took some money from a booster at Michigan, but again, nothing really impressive.
But he's not a jackass like some of them.
No,
Okay.
He's actually
right. He hasn't done any.
He's a genial fellow, a genial chap.
Doesn't he also go out with Tyra Banks? I don't think he does anymore.
No, you got to give him some props for that.
Well,
right?
not really. Nick Van Exel banged Tyra Banks.
Oh,
Big
did he?
deal. Yeah, everybody.
How do you know that?
Well, you didn't.
I made a deposit in the banks.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Good job, Bern.
Well, what is Tyra Banks? I mean, is she the
She's
NBA?
hot. Well, she's got her own TV show, America's Next Top Model, on UPN 9. Generally regarded as one of the... I don't find her all that attractive.
Oh,
to be
come
honest.
on.
She makes Beyonce look like a slump buster.
Are you kidding me?
I don't like
Absolutely. Bernard, right on the money.
Employ the
Tyra Banks is fabulous.
slump buster on this program. It's
No,
offensive
fabulous.
to me.
I'm not a big fan. She's got a forehead like the runway at
come on.
LaGuardia
Are you
Airport.
kidding me?
Really?
Yeah.
She does.
Sid, you are so full of
You
it.
can land a 747 on her forehead.
Sid, you would be there in a nanosecond.
That's to put, you can put
Nano.
tire ads on that forehead.
We
I'm
cannot
telling
understand what's going on if you all are going to talk at once.
Good night.
I'm trying to follow along here. And what were you saying about Tyra Banks, Charles?
you. Tire advertising on Tyra Banks' forehead. She
That's
has
what I'm
a
saying.
very high, almost like her hair's receding or something.
Yeah.
Her hairline.
Well, it's like the
she's brutal,
bubble-headed
Charles.
chick on
Brutal.
on the Fox football show, the Pam Oliver, same thing.
I love Pam Oliver. What are you knocking Pam Oliver now?
She's got one of those bubble for forehead.
So
type
what?
deals. But you turn her around, tell her to
She's
eat the
hot.
pillow, and who cares?
Jesus, God, what's wrong with you?
By the way, I spent the football season on the sideline for the Giants, and Fox worked a lot of their games, and I was with Pam Oliver.
Here we
She's got
go.
a pretty face. She's got
we
a
go.
butt
Yeah.
like Charles Barkley. She's got
She's
a
buck-tooth-
horrible body. Horrible.
Bubblehead.
Yeah, she's
Butt like Charles Barkley.
Yeah, she's horrible.
That's a
horrible.
big butted woman.
Yeah.
You know that, Lou?
That is a big...
Lou, that's a big butted woman.
By the way, I heard Contessa Hoare has a butt like that as well. What happened?
Contessa what?
I heard she's got a big old butt.
Who?
Contessa.
Isn't she sitting right there?
Contessa Brewer? No, she's
Oh, yeah.
fine.
No, she's
on
That's
medication.
not what I heard.
Really?
Well, I mean...
She's got a wide load.
I
Joe.
checked it
No,
out.
no, she is not a big butted woman. So,
All right.
as far as I know, you know.
1, 2, 3, give it to me. Wow, big body woman. People rolling behind. Good God, need a big butted woman. Make me lose my mind. Lord, good God. Hit me. Big butted. Big butted. Ah, she can be all bad and nasty. I really don't care. Just don't give me no tiny hiney. Want that jumbo underwear, Lord. Good God. Pant load, hit me. Big butted. Big butted. Take me to the bridge. Take me to the bridge. Ah, knock it to me. Big butt, give me a little peacock. Ha. You got to, Lord knows you got to learn to turn the other cheek. Excuse me while I do the boogaloo. Big butted, big butted. Take me to the bridge, jump off. Ah, knock it to me. Big butt, give me a little peek. You got to, Lord knows you got to learn to turn the other cheek. Big butted woman, show me your butt. Stand up, Miss Lady, show me your big butt. Get the spotlight in the big butt. Oh, I'm sorry, mister. Big butt dead. Big butted.
Attention, builders, developers, contractors, architects, designers. Don't miss Construction Expo 2000.
Smart one, are you?
Okay, pitches and catches just got underway, and already you media guys get in on my nerves. All this controversy over steroids, Jason Jambi, Jose Canseco, Ivan Barry Bonds, and I got a choice between benching 250 every day for an hour or popping a couple of E-ball D-balls and lifting a dumbbell for 20 minutes to get a 42-inch bicep. What do you think I'm going to choose? But I got to say, after listening to his press conference, one thing's for sure. Steroids don't pump up your public speaking skills. I don't understand. It's a big deal. Baseball is not the game it was back when Abner Doubleday first got the idea. Players today wear finely tuned, expertly crafted athletic shoes constructed to provide state-of-the-art performance. The old-time guys had high-top leather cleats, practically flip-flops compared to what today's guys wear. Bats in the old days was tree limbs turned on a lathe in a wood shop. Today, you got perfectly balanced polymer alloy deals that they make moon rockets out of. If equipment technology has brought the game into the 21st century, why shouldn't we have better players through chemistry? So Mark McGuire was scheme-popping pig hormones. If he want to turn his nugget pouch into a piece of big jerky, that's his business. Any man willing to risk reducing the size of his penis for the sake of improving his athletic performance, that's dedication, baby. He really got to love it, the game. Where else you going to get that kind of commitment? Tamoxifen turns your testicles into Tic Tacs. But if you want to hit 425, that's the price you're going to pay. And I, for one, want a player who's willing to make that sacrifice. Bang in the bat or a big banana hammock? What happened to a man's right to choose?
There I go again. Just getting warmed up. Just kind of finding my feet.
He's been up, he's been down. Some say moron, some say clown. But he may not know much. Can't afford losing ground now, so I'm voting W. Bush. Now Iraq, come undone. Fahrenheit, 911. That Michael Moore's just a buzz. The polls faded down now. I'm still voting W. Bush.
I'm going to be a leader for peace. By strengthening our alliances, we will be friends with our allies when we don't need each other. Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country. There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame on you. It fooled me, we can't get fooled again. Nuclear weapons.
He's a tool, understood. He's got dick in a white hood. Katie's a bit out of touch. But Bobo's going down now, 'cause I'm voting W. Bush.
Under the dictator, prisons like Abu Ghraib prison. And to the C students, you too can be president of the United States. God bless America.
Imus! Copyright 2005, Infinity Broadcasting. All rights reserved. Imus in the Morning is a presentation of WFAN and Westwood One Entertainment.
Battery trouble? Then get in the zone. Only one radio station has Imus in the morning. Rosenberg and Beningo in the day, and Mike and the Mad Dog in the afternoon. And you're listening to it right now. Your flagship station for New York sports. The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York, an Infinity Broadcasting station.
WFAN 2020. Good morning at 10 o'clock. This is John Benko. The NBA trade deadline, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Already the Philadelphia 76ers creating a buzz, a 6-player deal with Sacramento. The bottom line is this: Chris Webber is a member of the Sixers this morning. Webber will be teamed with Allen Iverson. The Knicks take on the Sixers tonight in the Garden. Miserable third quarter, 4 of 23 shooting from the field in that third quarter. Another lopsided loss for the Nets, the 181 setback in Milwaukee. And to Vince Carter.
Right now, as a team, we're struggling.
on the offensive end, and sometimes it carries over to our defense.
Now, Carter had 26 last night. The Bucks have won 5 of 7, and that's home to Charlotte tomorrow. And while snow is on the way here, we journey down to spring training in Tampa, where WFAN's Sweeney Murdy covers the Yankees.
All the attention has gone to Randy Johnson, Jason Giambi, and Alex Rodriguez so far. As far as pitchers go, the big unit is taking pressures off new guys like Carl Pavano and Jarrett Wright, but that doesn't last forever, as Wright well knows.
When you go to pitch, when it's your turn to pitch, there's no radar to fly under there. I like to think as myself as, just trying to go with the flow and deal with what happens, every day.
Pavano had a hard time believing 2,300 people would show up to watch the first day through live batting practice, joking that fewer people showed up to see him pitch his first regular season game with the Marlins last year. Workouts are free to the public until games start next Thursday.
And Sweeney Sports sponsored by New Zenadrin NRG, the first weight loss supplement to provide weight loss support and continuous energy for up to 8 hours with just one dose. Zenadrin NRG. See and feel the difference. Available at Walgreens, GNC, and other retailers. 27 degrees and skies are cloudy. That's what's happening. This is John Minko with 2020 Sports on WFAN. Your home for the Mike and the Mad Dog program. Weekdays 1 until 6:30.
10:03 on the Fan, Thursday morning, midday show. Sid Rosenberg and Joe Beningo here until 1 o'clock. At that time, you'll get the dog, Chris Russo. Mike's on vacation. He's out for the rest of the week, so you get dog today and tomorrow. And Mike and the Mad Dog back on Monday. But we've got 3 hours to do. We've got a big show for you today. Lots of stuff going on around the sports world. A couple of big trades and big leagues last night. Teams in action. And, of course, coming up here in just a couple of hours, the WFAN hockey funeral, put very nicely by our great producer, Matt Deutsch, who said, quote, "We put the fun, F-U-N, in funeral." How about that?
That's exactly what we're going to be doing today.
Because most people in management and radio are salesmen. And there are one rung below a car salesman, a radio time salesman. There's no lower form of life on the planet, or few, other than, say, a roadie for Kid Rock. Yeah. But they're slimy, mostly dishonest, reprobate.
They're lower than pimps and crack dealers.
Yes.
To be quite honest with you.
And so they don't ever have a good idea. And they thought they could get a crowd to show up. I mean, like when Stern does something, he gives something away. They gave away satellite radios.
Of course.
So they have this funeral for these hockey fans, but they don't offer them anything. Not even free lunch at this stupid steakhouse. What's serving that rancid meat over there?
Oh, now, come on. You insult them there a little bit now. Come on.
Why not give them tickets to some other sport? If you're going to bury hockey, then get them interested in something else.
Sure.
So, but at any rate, hockey fans, you would think might like women's roller derby or anything. Anyway, y'all watching MSNBC, check this out, and on the radio, listen. Here's what happened yesterday at the hockey funeral, staged by Rosenberg and Benigno. Roll that tape,
Hello,
Bigfoot.
everybody, and welcome to WFAN's Hockey Memorial. First, we'd like to thank everybody here for coming. It's a cold day. It's a solemn day. But you have all braved the elements. Thank you for being here today. On a serious note, this is a sad day. I got a gentleman right here who's wearing a New York Ranger jersey. He's obviously a diehard Ranger fan. I've got my partner and good friend Joe Beningo just to the back here wearing his Eric Lindros jersey. I'm wearing my Mark Messier jersey. We're really hockey fans, so this is not just a matter of
enough. Stop it. Stop the tape. Stop the tape. Stop it now.
God.
Stop it. Stop the tape. Stop it.
That is pitiful.
Oh, my God.
That is pitiful.
Stop it.
It's like some congressman on C-SPAN, in the middle of the night, talking, a camera's there, but there's nobody sitting in front of them.
Talking to an empty chamber. You're right.
Thank you for being here. I think that's where the applause is.
And Mr. President, and then the camera pulls back and there's nobody there.
No one.
Oh, God, that was sad.
That was Mad TV right there.
Oh, man.
That
was leper colony time.
But on a serious note,
leper colony time?
Absolutely. Good grief.
Anybody have any questions out there?
We're going to talk with Paul McCartney in a minute, but first let's go to Fred Imus in Tucson, Arizona. Fred's appearance sponsored by your Tri-State Jeep dealer. Good morning, Fred.
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine.
Did you have your CAT scan?
No, I'll have it next week.
Oh, next week.
Yeah, it takes a little while for him, about a week for him to schedule it.
Okay. Hey, what's the that old cowboy actor who's on yours and Nicole's show?
Don Collier.
What's his name?
Don Collier.
Don Collier?
Yeah.
What movie has he been in?
Oh God, I mean, I could
name one.
There's been a lot of those John Wayne movies, and
well, name one. Name one. John, was he in The Searchers?
I don't know, but he was. He had a series. He was in High Chaparral. He was in that. He was starred in that series. He was in a lot of. I mean, I do just tons of TV stuff and movie stuff.
Because Wyatt has all those old Western movies that he watches.
Who asked about High Chaparral?
Pardon me?
Hi, man. Did you ask about High Chaparral?
No.
Oh, because he was in that 1967. That's very good.
Who was?
Don Collier.
Who's that?
Oh,
my brother's friend. Is he on your guys' radio program out there?
Every day.
Okay. So
he's done a lot of movies. I have about 35 movies here with him in them.
And then we watch the Western Channel, Channel 529 and DirecTV.
Oh, then you've seen him because he's all. I mean, if you know how you can go.
Name one movie, Fred, that he was in.
I can't think.
You work with the guy every day.
I know, but sometimes I don't ask. I mean, he's told me what a lot of the movies he was in.
Rio Grande, They Died with Their Boots On.
No, he wasn't in those.
I know.
What was he in, Sid?
He was in 12 Hours to Kill, 7 Ways from Sundown, Outlaws, Safe at Home,
Last Train from Gun Hill,
El Dorado, The War Wagon, The High Chaparral, 5-Card Stud. Any of these ring a bell?
No. What John Wayne movies?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Well, we're not talking to you, Fred.
Sid, any John Wayne movies?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recognize any of these things. I mean, this is
Stagecoach.
Oh no.
Searchers.
I don't see any of that.
This guy's like Casablanca.
You got to see this list.
Gone with the Wind.
The Godfather. Mean Girls. Does he know Tina Fey?
Basic Instinct.
Oh, my
Are we there
God.
yet?
No,
Anyway.
I don't recognize any of these. The Young Riders he was in. I think.
Don's going to be happy with you today, isn't he, Fred?
Yeah, he's going to be real happy.
Hey, what else going on there in Tucson?
Well, just kind of going in and doing my show every day, our show.
Well, you know, I actually can introduce something that Fred would appreciate very much. And I have a newfound respect now for Hunter Thompson.
Oh, you do?
This is from AP. Hunter Thompson's widow says the 67-year-old journalist was talking to her on the phone when he killed himself. Anita Thompson tells the Aspen Daily News that her husband asked her to come home so they could work on his weekly ESPN column, but instead of saying goodbye, he set the phone down. She heard the click of the gun and a loud muffled noise followed.
Oh, no, he said goodbye.
Yeah. Who among us hasn't had that impulse while they're speaking to their wives on the phone to blow your effing brains out? This guy acted on it. He truly is a hero. He is an icon. Yes. I take it all back. God bless Hunter Thompson.
What else going on, Fred? We're kind of pressed for time here, so you don't sound like you're very well prepared this morning, but...
No, I'm having time. My voice is going.
Okay, well, what's coming up on your very fine program with Don and Nicole today?
We have Senator John Kyle on today.
Oh, he's the other senator from Arizona.
Right.
He's a fat loser. Hey, ask him if he knows Jeff Gannon.
Who's Jeff Gannon?
No, just ask him. Don't worry about it. I'll see you later.
Hey, wait a minute. I haven't made my pick.
Well, hurry up. We're not a lot of time.
Jimmy Johnson wins this weekend at the California Speedway.
There you go.
Okay.
Wow.
Who runs ninth?
Greg Biffle.
Greg Biffle.
All right.
What's happening to your voice?
Well, I don't know. You know, working this new, like working at night now, so I don't get to bed till about midnight. So the tighter I get, the more I lose my voice, which could be good for the show today.
Well, what time's your show over?
7.
Well, why wouldn't you get to bed till midnight?
Well, because sit around there and talk about what we're going to do the next day, and then, you know, time I get home. And like yesterday, I had to go to the grocery store, so then time to get home.
You done smoke about a pack of cigarettes, right?
Some pork and beans.
That'll help your voice.
Mac and cheese. Feed Chef Boyardee.
Feed your aneurysm.
Well, say to Don. Say hi to Don for us, will you, Fred?
Hey, you want me to get one of his movies and send it to you?
Yes.
All right.
All right, thanks. 29 FPR. Paul McCartney's coming up next.
Put the tones onto my singular wireless. When you're totally hooked up, you can do that stuff. That's good. I mean, look at the place.
You know, first of all, you look a lot I just saw you at the Super Bowl. You didn't have a beard, and you weren't fat.
Well, that was a couple of weeks ago, and, the Super Bowl's much larger, a venue.
Right.
So, me being here is more intimate, so I appear larger. I'm larger than life. I'm a Beatle, for Christ's sake.
Sure.
MSNBC, the Pete Best of cable news network. Good, but not quite good enough, is it there, Imus?
Well,
not enough to make it to the big time. Why do you need all this room? You'll be changing the oil on an Airbus or something? You know what I can't figure out, Imus?
What?
What am I doing here? I'm a Beatle. I don't need the money.
No, I'm the one trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you're here, too. It's crazy.
Well.
Rick Kaplan got a picture of you in a leather bustier and nipple clamps and a pirate hat or something with a donkey?
No.
There's somebody's got a gun to your head to bring you here. You know that rubbish about being in the 60s being dead?
Sure.
I think if you played This Honky's Nuts backwards, you can hear your voice going, my career is over, my career is over.
Let me know when you've exhausted this material so we can move on to the rest.
What's the best part about you is you're so supportive. Lovely hat. There's a nice nod to the television audience. Oh, I got it. I'll make it more visual. Oh, we're a hat. So, see how strange I must be in here? The only surviving Beatle.
How many crickets, Lou?
You are terrible. Sometimes I wish I
How
really
are
was
you, by
dead.
the
I'd
way?
like to play my record backwards so I could just pretend I'm dead. I'm fine, actually.
How's Stumpy doing, your wife? Heather, brother.
Pardon me?
How is Heather doing?
She's lovely. Thank you very much.
Sure.
She's younger than I am, a bit. I don't know what she sees in me, and then I realize, I get 50 cents every time somebody sings happy birthday.
Yeah.
Your wife, she gets $1 every time Mel Karmazin sneezes. we argue, like everybody does.
Oh, sure, of course.
But this morning, we had this little argument back and forth, and I said, you wouldn't be saying that if the shoe were on the other foot, and she starts crying, and I know what that's like,
Sure.
That's unfortunate.
This was really a great idea, I think, isn't it? Let's bring Paul McCartney out.
What's your relationship now with Yoko?
Oh, it's great. I don't see her that much anymore, since she started running North Korea. She looks a little bit like Kim Jong-un, without quite all the charm. Jesus. She thinks she's a singer.
Right.
That's the thing about her.
Well,
Kiss.
the Lennon-McCartney records to McCartney-Lennon.
Well, that was mine, actually. I really wanted to have...
Well, who wrote Day Tripper, for example?
That was John.
Okay.
John.
Well, who wrote Let It Be?
That was me.
Hmm? Who wrote Back in the USSR?
Brian Wilson. The years have held up for him, haven't they?
By the way, what did you think of what critics are hailing as perhaps the greatest album ever made, the Smile album?
Well, there's not really much to say about that other than it's obvious that, there are no drugs left from the 60s because Brian took them all. It's a little ironic. The name of the album is Smile, and he has a difficult time getting one himself, with that little thing he's got, the Mary Jo Buttafuoco thing happening there.
No. I don't think that.
Sad, really. He's sitting in the sandbox, knowing all his brain cells by name at this point.
We're talking with
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney, and he...
There was a little group called the Beatles back in the 60s, you might have remembered.
I was just in London, by the way.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So.
Thanks. Well, at least we got that going for us. We got that in common.
I went over to the Abbey Road studios. There's nothing there.
Well, there's a building.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But
you're waiting for me to show up?
There's actually an Abbey Road. Did you know that? I guess you would know
from
that.
England. I recorded at Abbey Road. I took the bloody picture there in the street.
Hey, who wrote She Loves You?
That was John.
Okay.
And I wrote the... That was me.
Okay. Who wrote Eleanor Rigby?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
That was me. Well, People, I think, was mine. John came up with most of the rest of the stuff.
Right. And you worked... does Michael Jackson own all the publishing to you two guys?
It's a kind of a sore point with me. I must see he got them at auction a while ago at $46 million, I think, and it's really sad what's happened to him, isn't it? I mean, a man who's touched so many people, being accused of touching so many young people. I love that they said that there's no African Americans on his jury, and I'm thinking there's not one sitting at the defendant's table either. That was a jury of his peers, isn't it?
That was a line that Imus used yesterday. Maybe
I don't watch your show.
Sure.
I really don't.
or listen, apparently.
CNN is really what I'm tuning into. Like,
You know what this is, Sid?
A little bit like the hockey funeral from yesterday.
I was sticking my gum in my mouth and I couldn't get it out. This is our version of the hockey funeral.
I like to crawl in that coffin myself at this point.
Oh, you're going to get some help, believe me.
Get the eulogies ready.
Michael Moore with the guitar there.
How come, like when you appeared at the Super Bowl,
Right.
why wouldn't you use, you had a drummer, why wouldn't you use Ringo instead of that fat guy from, what's his name? Who's the drummer you had at the Super Bowl?
Dave. I don't remember.
You don't remember the drummer you had at the Super Bowl?
I don't remember his name now.
Joe.
I'm drawing a blank.
The big fat guy.
The big fat one, yes.
Rick
Aretha. That's his name.
No. You were telling me about this in the office.
I know that, but I can't remember it now.
You can't remember the guy's
I can't
name?
remember his name.
The big session drummer?
Yes. Well, you don't remember it either. I told you.
No, because I didn't know.
You're the big rock and roll fanatic. You should be knowing it.
No. I didn't know that. I didn't know who it was. I thought I commented on how great he was.
He is
and
great.
you told me who he was.
Right. All I know is he's not Ringo. That's his name. Not Ringo.
Well,
not Ringo, because Ringo sucks.
Well, my question was, why wouldn't
Abe,
you use
Abe is his name. Abe something.
No, it's not.
Don't look at me.
I
don't know.
I can't believe you can't remember this.
I don't remember his bloody name at the moment.
But you were the one going.
I've drawn a blank at the moment. Why do we have to harp on this? You can't remember your own name half the time.
Of course I can.
This was such a great idea, wasn't it? When we were sitting there in the office, we thought...
16 till the hour.
I'll interview you. We won't really prepare anything. We'll just wing it.
16 till the hour. You're on the Imus morning program. Oh, I forgot Larry's the one who can ad-lib, that's all.
Oh!
More with Bob McCartney.
Love was such an easy game to play.
Don't go away because we have more with Paul McCartney coming up. Hey, how about you feel like it?
Barishnikov, I guess. Though he did do that tighty-whitey underwear dance pretty convincingly one memorable Saturday Night Live. Dad must have been enthralled. Ron Prescott Reagan, tear down this tutu. Anyway, Ron's gone on to become a discordant, annoying exponent of the outraged baby seal side of the political aisle. You know, the people who got jellyfish stuffed down their wetsuits in the recent election unpleasantness. I'm sure he'll wear well. Then there's his partner, Ms. Crowley. I'm not quite sure where she comes from, except to say I don't think it's a Mensa meeting. Well, that's mean. After all, her bio says she holds a doctorate from Columbia. What it doesn't say is that it was conferred on her. She just holds it. What, like a square of Charmin? Well enough, because I'm pretty much stuck here until I can replace or repair my remote. But then if you're hearing this, you may be too. Sad. Hunter Thompson? Not a bad idea.
Well, that's a little harsh, Mandy Rooney. But then I'd also like to point out that when I got back to the office, and when Charles faxed over the script for Andy to read,
Pardon me?
There was an invitation there from Tina Brown addressed to Don and Deirdre Imus.
Oh, how nice.
Inviting us, Miss Brown was on behalf of Rick Kaplan and her husband Harry, to a cocktail party at apparently their apartment there in Manhattan to celebrate the debut of this hideous program with Ron Reagan and Monica Crowley.
Connected coast to coast.
Well, they simply described it as Monica Crowley's show. They didn't mention Ron Reagan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the woman who got fired last night on The Apprentice, which I did not watch 1 second of.
Oh, Tara?
Was Tara. Did you see it?
A little bit.
Tara, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am, Your Excellency.
How you doing, baby?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Why'd you get fired? What happened last night, first of all?
I think the lesson, the takeaway here is Trump's lack of judgment. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, I think basically I got a little too dogmatic, which I can be at times.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunately, I think, my undoing last night.
Was it racism, you think?
No, I'm not one to cry racism.
We're charging racism. That's where we're coming from.
You can charge that, but no, I don't think that's what it was.
What do you do in real life?
What I do in real life, actually, my background is political. Right now, I do government and community relations work, but I've worked in the governor's office in New Jersey.
Oh, you do?
I have, yes.
Not the one who's a fruit, the other one, right?
Oh, no, well, wait. Oh, wait a second. You're good. You're quick.
So are you.
I actually worked for, yes, I did work for Governor McGreevey. I wouldn't call him a fruit.
What would you call him?
I would call him my former employer.
Were you as surprised, Tara, as everyone else when the governor announced that he was a gay American?
You know, I have to tell you, I was surprised because to come out to basically the world in that sort of forum, I was shocked. I mean, I was listening to it on the radio like a lot of other people, and it sort of knocked the wind out of me for a second.
So there wasn't any suspicion that he was coming in the back of the teepee there in the office, huh?
I'm not too familiar with the TP, to be quite honest.
Well, no, I was raised out west. Maybe I should use
I'm a heterosexual
coming in the back of the Capitol building. Coming in the back of the using that rear entrance in the Capitol building. If you understand what I'm saying.
You know what? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna stay away from this particular line of questioning.
Was it fun being on the show?
Being on the show was a great experience. I mean, it's a tremendous opportunity. I've already gotten different offers, and so it's been great. Yeah.
How was Trump?
You know what? I think Trump is pretty cool. You know, despite what people say about him, I don't think he takes himself too seriously. He really seems to kind of get a kick out of himself, and he certainly gets a kick out of all of us.
Well, he does have a great sense of humor. Sometimes he lets that show, sometimes he doesn't. It seems like sometimes he gets... My favorite part when I actually watch the program is him in the boardroom beating up on y'all. You know, I like that part. But.
Oh, you like that part? That's not my favorite part, but...
I'm sorry you got fired, but it sounds like you might do all right. Thanks for taking the time to talk with us.
Oh, thanks. And you know what? Be sure to check out taradaldell.net.
I hear what you're saying.
And look for my book proposal, Accessing Government Resources.
I'm going to be checking that out, too.
You check that out, all right?
See some pictures.
Thanks.
Those two. Check those out.
Now.
Get past the people, get past the hitman. Imus in the morning.
If you
Show like a black show.
don't miss the New Jersey Boat Show, Thursday through Sunday.
We'll see you at the show.
I got a great idea. It's 20 degrees and 6 inches of snow on the ground. Let's have a boat show.
Well, how does that make any sense?
It's 5 minutes after the hour, and I am Imus in the morning here on the radio on MSNBC. Just had a commercial locally for the New Jersey Boat Show.
Which is 19 degrees outside.
19 degrees and 6 inches of snow on the ground. That dopes you up in a boat show.
See you at the show. Get out.
Then every once in a while, almost like a vision, almost like a Stephen King sort of situation where Rick Kaplan just kind of floats through the studio here, and he's always munching something, and I'm just wondering, because this is a giant complex here, this MSNBC headquarters, whether he in fact actually walks up to the commissary, which looks like it's about 15 or 16 or 17 steps up, or if he takes the elevator, and how often does he make that trip?
Elevator, I would suspect, and often would be the answers.
Although he told me he didn't like elevators.
Well,
so
get somebody to carry him, or several people.
Probably breaks half of the ones he gets on. I mean, this guy's huge.
Yeah, he really is. Just
freight elevator.
This is no exaggeration.
No.
This guy's 6'8", about 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul McCartney is stay with us. One of the things that troubled me that I missed was you described yourself, Paul, as the only surviving Beatle.
Yes.
But there's Ringo.
Well, I wouldn't call what he's doing really surviving, would you?
Well,
I mean, he's been reduced to supermarket openings at this point.
Well?
No wonder he drinks. If I were him, I'd be drunk now. Heather found him out back going through our garbage trying to pick out our baby daughter's soiled baby diapers to sell them on eBay.
Wasn't he involved in that Wilbury thing, or was that the other one?
No, that was George.
Oh, okay.
That was George.
Well, you don't have all that great a relationship with Ringo, or?
Oh no, he's great, but I mean, you know, he doesn't make Beatle money. I mean,
Nobody's seen him since Yasser Arafat died.
doesn't make Imus money for that matter.
Well, there seems to be a little more loyal to him.
Well, what's he ever done for me? Why do you think I had to get Abe Laboriel to sit on the drums?
I remembered his name, huh?
Yeah, I did a quick Google search.
That's Abe Laborio Jr.
That's right.
I'd like to point out.
Well, of course you knew that.
There's Chuck with the news. Good morning, Joel.
Deadly day for American military personnel in
Chuck, you've
Iraq.
met Paul McCartney, right?
Yes, I have.
Oh, okay.
A bomb blast killed 3 U.S. soldiers and wounded 8 others north of Iraq's capital today, according to the military. No particular details given except that the troops were from Task Force Baghdad, mostly made up of 1st Cavalry Division troops. The lieutenant colonel said the patrol was hit by an IED. The attack took place around midday in Tarmiya, which is about 20 miles northeast of Baghdad. The Vatican says Pope John Paul II spent a restful night in a Rome hospital after surgery to help him breathe. A papal spokesman says the 84-year-old pontiff was able to eat breakfast this morning, is breathing on his own, and his post-operative recovery is described as normal.
The tracheotomy that the Pope underwent yesterday was called an elective tracheotomy, which means that it was not an emergency procedure.
The spokesman says doctors have advised the Pope not to try to speak for several days to ensure good recovery. The Pope was taken to a Rome hospital yesterday for surgery to open his airway following a relapse of influenza. And they say unless there is something new to report, the next update on the Pope's condition will be made probably on Monday. The Anglican Church appears to be coming closer to a split over the issue of gay bishops. Leaders of the world's 77 million-strong Anglicans are calling on its Canadian and U.S. provinces. What happened?
What's the matter?
What happened? What happened?
Oh,
what
my God.
just happened?
Oh, Charles, I'm
happened?
telling you, Charles, you don't want to know.
I do want to know. There's something about the gay bishops?
No.
No,
Anglican
go back
bishops?
a little bit. Go back a little bit further.
Back up? The
First
next
up.
update on the Pope's condition will be
There you
made
go.
on Monday?
There you go. Now you're on.
How could a tracheotomy be elective? Like, it's not like getting a facelift.
Well,
I mean, you don't get an elective amputation.
that's a good question. But who are we to dispute the official pronouncement of the Vatican spokesman here, Bernie?
Well,
I don't know. That's just the way they're characterizing it, is that it was not an emergency procedure. So I don't know.
I think I'll go in the hospital today and just get a tracheotomy.
Yeah, I think you've made a very good, you make a good point.
But it's my church, and ours is not to do or die. Ours is but to say how high.
That's right. Or reason why, or whatever.
Welcome.
Continuing.
Oh, wait a second. But if the Pope is so close to God, how does he die? Like, I don't understand how the whole thing works.
Oh, that's so
No, I'm serious. Like,
Oh, shut up, Izzy.
I'm asking an honest question.
None of your business.
Does the
It's
Pope
just
talk
none
to
of your
God?
business.
I'm just trying to find out
Why
about
don't you go hook up with another rabbi who kills his wife?
Hell. Oh, boy.
You are really unbelievable.
I just don't understand what the Pope's
Don't
job
try
is.
to understand.
What does
None
he
of
do?
your damn
None
business.
of your damn business.
All right.
You jerk.
I want to appreciate the religion. I want to give Bernie the
No, you
benefit of the
don't.
doubt. I
You
do.
wanna
No,
mock
I
it.
do.
You
want to mock.
No, I
wanna
don't.
ridicule it.
No, I don't.
Yeah, of course you do. So,
I know what the man does.
butt out. How does that sound?
Choking a bagel.
Yeah. Please continue, Charles.
Thank you, I meant.
Idiot.
The U.S. economy grew at a solid 3.8% annual rate in the final quarter of 2004, stronger than previously estimated, and an encouraging sign, we're told, that the business expansion was firmly entrenched at the beginning of the new year. The new reading on gross domestic product released by the government today, better than the government's initial calculation, and reflects, we're told, more robust spending by businesses. The trade deficit also was less of a drag on fourth quarter growth than initially thought. White House officials are calling the president's week-long tour of Europe a success. The president and the first lady getting back last night after a 9-hour flight from seeing Vladimir Putin in Slovakia. In his wake, White House officials hailed the Russian leader's assurance that he is, in fact, committed to the concept of democracy.
Oh, please, God almighty. I mean, this is just like the Iraq jive.
And also hailing his agreement to help curb sales of anti-aircraft missiles.
Oh, sure.
He's a war criminal in waiting, this little creep.
The shoulder-fired missiles, which are, of course, of great concern to commercial aviation.
I mean, this is another Stalin wannabe, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, another little Mussolini-like creep.
Another Hitler.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they're going to poison him so he gets that crunch bar face.
Paul McCartney's still here with us.
Hey, this clown, by the way, that's on your brother's show was in 3 movies with John Wayne.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Which one?
El Dorado in 1966, The Undefeated in 1969, and The War Wagon in 1967.
That's when Wayne was way past his prime.
Well,
whatever.
He was in 3
but
movies.
he was in 3 movies.
Yeah.
Damn it.
3 more than you did.
That's right.
Yeah. So shut up.
Shutting up.
He was in El Dorado?
Yeah. He was in El Dorado, 1966. Don Collier and John Wayne.
You sure they went in the city of El Dorado together?
Drunk at a bar or something? Or... No, they were
Information
not
I
there.
got.
They were not
13 after the hour here on the Imus in the Morning program. We're visiting with Paul McCartney.
It's a lovely visit.
You've been invited to the wedding of Camilla and what's his name? Prince Charles?
Prince Charles. Yeah, there's probably an invitation for me. I don't know if I'll go or not, but we in Britain aren't as hung up as you Americans are about men being married. So,
What does that mean?
well, 2 and 2 men want to get married. Embrace it. Obviously.
Well, she's not a man.
All right, you stick by that story, son. I mean, it's obvious who wears the trousers in that family.
Well, whatever, yeah.
She's got a penis.
She was on with us last week,
She was.
You
She was. She looked the same in person as she does on telly.
She wasn't on this long as you've been on, for example.
She wasn't, yeah.
It was a briefer appearance and a more structured appearance.
Well, maybe you should think about that next time you decide, I got it.
Oh, yeah, well...
Let's do an interview.
Well, no, I don't.
You
Who knows?
prepare, you do stuff,
Why not?
You rehearse.
I
you have
asked the
material.
questions. It's not my fault. The
You didn't put
answers weren't funny.
You didn't put the questions in the right order.
Oh, okay. That would have made it funny? You fat bastard?
Oh, my God. Is it possible to do a tracheotomy on you at this point?
I'll give you a tracheotomy. It's 14 after the hour.
I do not, for one, think that the problem was that the band was down. I think that the problem may have been that there was a Stonehenge monument on the stage that was in danger of being crushed by a dwarf.
David, whenever a single bump or a ruffle comes into this little fantasy world that you guys have built around yourself, you start screaming like a bunch of poncy hairdressers. I mean, it's just a problem, It gets solved. Do you know what I spend my time doing? I sleep 2 or 3 hours a night. There's no sex and drugs for Ian, David. You know what I do? I find lost luggage.
Well, maybe
that's what I do.
someone else to find the lost luggage, and you should concentrate on what's going on stage.
Yes. This is my position, okay? I am not managing it with you or any other woman, especially one who dresses like an Australian's nightmare. So you. And all of you.
Too.
Because I quit. All right? That's it. Good night.
I raise a practical question at this point. We're going to do Stonehenge tomorrow.
No, we're not going to do Stonehenge.
Imus in the morning.
Musicians, they're here. Thousands of them. Green as far as the eye can see.
Mediocre note. And, he's not the kind of dirtbag that Phil Mushnick is, for example, but close. And they write to a limited audience, believe me. But whenever one of these sports geeks, the Sids or the Michael Kays of the world, whenever they get mentioned...
First of all, don't put me in the same sentence as Michael Kay.
Why?
Because I'm not a sports geek anyway. I do sports for a living, but I'm not a sports geek.
Okay. Well, whenever they get mentioned in either this jerk's column or Mushnick or whatever,
right?
It's almost as though they were on the cover of Time or Newsweek in their mind.
Oh,
however, it was just a humiliating exercise yesterday, wasn't it?
No, let me tell you something else.
No.
You know how certain words become popular in the English language and they almost become generic? Vaseline, for instance, or
Kleenex.
Thank you very much, Chuck. Good job, Kleenex. Now, when something goes bad, or like my good friend Eddie Scazzeri said, like what about the abortion? A 3-hanger, third semester abortion? What does he call that? Lou, you would know what he's talking about there?
He says coat hanger.
Coat hanger, yeah. From now on, they're just going to call it a hockey funeral based upon what we did yesterday. So I kind of feel good about things. We've actually now brought a brand new word into the... No, Webster's dictionary is going to go hockey funeral for when things go badly from now on. So for that, I think it was all worth it, don't you?
It could happen.
Right?
No.
No? It was humiliating. But,
yeah, it's just...
But you know what? Turnoff didn't care. He just, went back to the station. Lee Davis took off to Puerto Rico, and I had to spend the rest of the afternoon trying to pick up the pieces.
Here on line
And then these annoying MSNBC cameras, by the way, these jerks. The thing is over, and I try to go over to the bar to have a ginger ale with Joseph Abboud and John Cirillo, and these two camera guys sit in front of me and shine the light in my face. I go, what are you doing? He goes, me, what are we doing? We're going to film you having drinks at the bar. I go, no. First of all, I'm not having drinks at the bar. Second of all, the funeral is over. Get the hell out of here.
This has got to be an interesting call on line 3. Here's Jonathan from New Haven, Connecticut. Good morning, Jonathan.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Listen, I saw your guest on the Ed Sullivan show. I would like to ask him a question, if you don't mind.
Paul McCartney?
Sid.
Oh, what would you want to ask him?
Who was the fool on the hill?
You're asking me this?
No, you. I know.
The fool on the hill?
Tell me up.
What happened to Paul's mic and chair? Why did we remove that?
Grab that.
Just pick that up.
Into that.
And then turn it on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, how are you, Doe?
Who was the fool on the hill?
It was me, obviously.
Yeah.
Didn't you watch the show today?
Here on line 2 is Heather from Los Angeles. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning, Mr. Imus. I was wondering if you guys noticed that about 10 after 7, Sid was digging some nougat out of his nose.
Of course.
Oh, yeah, we picked right up on it.
You saw me picking my nose this morning, Heather?
Pretty intense.
You didn't like that?
How many boogies do you have there under the
That'll
table?
be fine, Heather. Get off the phone.
It's the same hand I used to slap your ass, by the way, baby.
We don't need to talk to our listeners like that, Sid. That's disgraceful. Here on line 4 is Frank from Massapequa. Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Mr. R. Dude. How are you?
I'm all right, baby.
Somebody better explain to Rosenberg that that's not going to be the only funeral that he's attending this week.
Oh, would be the other one.
Well, the next one's going to be when FAN throws him and Bada Bingo off the air and out the back door, and that's going to be the next funeral for Sid.
Okay, here's a question I have for you, Frank.
Okay.
You are the FAN program director.
Okay.
You get rid of Joe and Sid.
Right.
Who do you put in there?
Well, we bring back Lupica and Len Berman.
It's 25 after the hour. Frank from Massapequa. That's why we don't take few calls, because that's particularly when you get to this time of the morning, and these morons are sitting there by their radios waiting for an opportunity to call and talk about Giambi, and I really was humiliated yesterday, though, wasn't it? Oh my God! Emasculated.
Downloading a song on SBC Yahoo DSL.
How long does it take?
Hang on. There, it's done.
Wow.
Yeah, DSL for just $19.95 a month.
Was the overwhelming sadness on the part of, well, just the kid's grandmother. That was heartbreaking. She doesn't look at her, wasn't it? The poor thing.
What is Suzanne, right? Yep. Yeah.
And this is a woman who's, she's a strong woman.
Oh, sure.
Not a wimp, But I've seen the same look on the faces of Sid's parents, and the kids who have cancer, their parents, and you know, as Bob said, these kids don't die, but as Suzanne said, it's like they get they're kidnapped.
Yeah. They don't die, but they don't come home either.
What was kind of startling was how at least with their specific grandson, it must be the case with others. Well, of course it is. How they seem fairly normal the first couple of years or so.
Quite bright, in fact.
Because in a lot of other cases, autism is, you begin to notice it in the early months when the kid doesn't respond to anything, you know. So, well, I wish we could help them some way.
I do too.
I don't exactly know what we can do other than talk about it, but it's startling how prevalent it is. There are 25,000 new cases diagnosed in the United States every year. One case almost every 20 minutes. Almost every 20 minutes. So there'll be another case between now and 10 o'clock Eastern time this morning.
It is stunning.
Well, we didn't get a sports report from Sid Rosenberg, which, of course, is brought to you by Peerless Boilers. I did want to mention that Imus Ranch Food, sponsored by the New York Hospital of Queens, a member of the New York Presbyterian Healthcare System with cutting-edge programs and leading specialists in all fields of medicine, use the salsa that the Pope would use. I'm confident. I think you could almost refer to it as the Pope's favorite salsa, couldn't you? Yeah. Or maybe not at this point.
I just don't think so. No.
You, Bernie, or?
Actually, I don't think so either.
Okay.
Why not? Why can't the Pope like his salsa?
Well,
what, the Pope is above eating salsa now, too?
No.
So?
You butt out here. We're trying to do something nice.
I think it is the Pope's favorite salsa.
Anyway, Imus Ranch food products, Imus Ranch salsa, Imus Ranch salad dressings. I had a bunch of the ranch dressing on some rigatoni noodles with pepper and.
That's great.
Oh God, it was great.
Yep.
And then an Imus Ranch coffee and Imus turquoise buffalo tortilla chips. All Imus Ranch food products available at supermarkets everywhere and at ImusRanchFoods.com or. I realize I shouldn't be talking about food around Rick Kaplan, who's standing here. Anyway, remember, 100% of the after-tax profits for the company go to the Imus Cattle Ranch for Kids with Cancer. What do you want, Rick?
What do you
want? We're on the air.
What are you coming?
But that's fine. What can we help you with?
I need a bagel.
I mean, I'm just trying to talk to you guys.
Did you hear that I had part of my bagel, and you want part of that? Or how often do you? Here's the thing we want to know. One, how often do you go to the commissary every day?
Too often.
And how do you get there? You don't like elevators, right?
No.
Okay, so you walk up the steps?
I actually have a rope.
There's a rope, and he climbs up. Anyway, Sid's here, and I mentioned Peerless Boilers, and you have a sports report, Sid.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to Cleveland tonight for the big
You're
fight
actually
in
going
the
to
cage.
show up for that?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go. Well, you know what happened? They already paid me and I already deposited the money.
Well, yes, but that wouldn't mean anything.
No, I know. No,
I told them more reason not to go.
You know, but usually when I go on these events, I take a friend from the station or I know somebody in that town, and I don't know anybody in Cleveland. I'm going to be in there all night. And then I was just reminded that Chernov's kid works for the Cleveland Indians.
Right.
So Tony's going to have to give me his kid's number because come 11, 12 o'clock tonight when the fights are over, and I'm looking for a hooker and a little bit of blow. Maybe
right. Tony's kid will take you to Starbucks, and you'll be sitting there reading the Wall Street Journal and New York Times.
What is going to happen when Butterbean gets in your face?
What do you mean what's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to try to defend myself like I did against Bernie. I think I'm going to make her very proud. Very proud. So I'm going to run away. I mean, I have nowhere to go. I'm going to be there with a camera guy. And
have you heard anything about whether Bernie Butterbean's level of annoyance with Sid?
Yeah, I heard it's very high.
Very high.
Sincerely, his agent thought it sullied his reputation to sit there and have to take that kind of crap from some loudmouth, on the radio. And some of the things that were said, the words that were used, bitch, pussy, and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, but you used those words, Bernie.
Well, I was just relaying what Sid said here in the control room.
Right. Yeah, but Sid didn't say that. You made it up, trying to get Sid in trouble, didn't you?
Well, yeah. But
Butterbean is so stupid that he actually thinks I did say it.
And you were so stupid you didn't deny it.
What am I going to do?
Well, you're going to get your head broke tonight. That's what's going to happen.
So this is no fake deal.
Well, I was told yesterday by my good friend John Cirillo, who set this whole thing up, that he really is really, really angry. And they were like, Butterbean, you have to understand.
There's a reliable source, John Cirillo.
That's my boy. They set it up. It was fun. You're having a good time. You're promoting a fight. Now, this other guy with him, that was his agent? The other guy? There was two guys that came to the studio I missed with you last week. It was Butterbean. Who was the other guy? Because the other guy supposedly egged him on. Was that his agent?
I don't know who that was.
Well, hopefully it wasn't his boyfriend.
They just looked like they looked at me like just a couple of gophers, you know.
A couple of Appalachian homos.
Actually, Butterbean was rolling light, you know. Didn't you think, Chuck?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he was.
One rolling deep with his posse.
Appalachian homo.
Yeah, he came in with a couple of deliverance homos.
Yeah, rolling almost abs.
Yeah.
I'm sure Sid will say that tonight, too.
Yeah, I will.
Where's you and your Appalachian homo boy?
Well, you know, actually, I was told yesterday, kind of disappointing. I figured that I'd be able to have some fun with these guys, but they want a relatively serious boxing report. Like, they don't want me to joke around. In fact, the memo actually read, don't be the Sid from the Imus show. We want you to do some very serious boxing stuff tonight.
Really?
Well, how serious boxing stuff can I do? It's Butterbean fighting.
Butterbean.
I mean, Butterbean's it's like a circus. He's like
yeah, but if somebody can get hurt, it's a serious contest. Even though it's not Marcus of Queensbury, you know.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be going out there joking around stupid. You do what you're told to do. Okay?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now,
What are you yelling at me for? What did I do?
I understand Randy Travis got traded to, not Randy Travis. He's a country singer.
I'm all right.
Randy Moss got traded to the Minnesota Vikings. Or I got traded from the Vikings to the Oakland Coliseum.
New York Mets.
The Raiders.
To a metal band. To the Oakland Aquarium Fish Museum.
Yeah, to
the Raiders.
Yeah, what's going on, baby? Well, a sports report.
Well, here's the thing. That will not become official, I mean, until March the 2nd.
That'll be done.
But that is a done deal, and a first-round pick, a low pick, and linebacker Napoleon Harris are on their way to Minnesota, and Randy Moss is, in fact, on his way to Oakland.
And what's happening with that sniveling little phony Isaiah Thomas here with the New York disgraceful, idiotic, hapless New York Knickerbockers?
You know, Isaiah first got here and made some trades, brought in Stephon Marbury and Van Horn, and the team was playing well, but he's had a rough time since. And yesterday, he traded away a couple of lousy players. I mean, that's fair, but he brought in marginal players at best, a couple of draft choices, added more years to the contract, and another $32 million. So all in all, it was a disastrous day again for Isaiah Thomas and the New York Knicks organization.
Well, which players did he bring in?
He brought in Malik Rose, who's a very nice role player for the San Antonio Spurs and has won a couple of championships. And he brought in Mo Taylor, who plays for the Houston Rockets and has been a huge disappointment so far in his career.
Hey, Mo!
His name is Maurice. They call him Mo, yeah.
And Curly Jones?
Well, why would we bring in somebody who's already been a huge disappointment?
Yeah, you know that you'd have to ask Isaiah that. Now he got some draft choices too, my man, but unfortunately the draft choices from halfway decent clubs, so they're low.
It's like MSNBC. Things don't work out with Deborah Norville, so you know they say, well, now who did Jon Stewart fire? Oh, Tucker Carlson. Yeah, let's get him.
There it is. Exactly the same thing. Right now, you have made the perfect analogy. Isaiah Thomas is Rick Kaplan.
Man, that is really unbelievable.
Isaiah Thomas is a moron in a nice suit with a phony suit.
Yeah, at least Kaplan is a fairly bright guy. Some of his judgments can call into question, but you know he's not a dope. So Isaiah Thomas is a phony little dope.
Wow. Putting these idiot players in the front office.
And by the way, he wasn't one of the greatest basketball players I've ever seen either.
Well, he was not or wasn't?
Wasn't.
What do you mean? Of course he was. He absolutely was. He was one of the best point guards this league's ever seen.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Along with Magic Johnson.
Everybody he doesn't compare to Magic Johnson.
Well, he wasn't as good, but certainly during that era, the Magic Bird Jordan era, Isaiah Thomas was the very next level. He was
who was he was kissing in these games? Was that Magic?
Yeah. That's how Magic got 8.
Oh, really? We can't have a funeral for your career quick enough.
Take that out. Now he's so scared.
So not only do we think age is funny,
no, I didn't.
We think the health of the Pope, God bless him, a living saint, we think that's a source for amusement.
Right.
You disgraceful pig.
Maybe now the international scourge of AIDS.
Now you find that as a source of amusement?
Maybe Isaiah kissed the Pope. You ever think about that?
Oh, well, Bernie, go in there and whip his ass now. I'm hurting you.
Living my life in a slow hell. Different girl every night at the hotel. I ain't seen the sun shine in 3 damn days. Fueling up on cocaine and whiskey. Wish I had a good girl to miss me.